Hi, I'm Dikshit and I built agentgym, or maybe we can call it voice gym. So what agentgym is a product that lets you test your voice agents by running it against thousands of AI generated scenarios and testing if your voice agent is actually able to deliver on the outcomes that it promises. So um, yeah, so it essentially allows you to ship voice experiences with confidence. And let's take a look at the features that it has. So it has a scenario builder where you can create new scenarios using just a prompt, and you can select between a pass, fail, or a complex scenario for the same prompt. Uh, this real-time voice harness provides the plumbing for us to uh, test against different kinds of users of different ethnicities and languages. We provide you a bunch of metrics for each scenario. For instance, the first audio latency, barge in time, which simulates if the user just starts talking in between when your voice agent is responding. And also, we obviously verify that the task is completed. That's what outcome verification is. The task that you might want to complete using your voice agent, for instance, a booking confirmation or something like that. And we give you a comprehensive scorecard based on all of these metrics. And we can also integrate multi-language support for verifying language switching and safety and compliance of your voice agent. Now let's take a look at how it works. So this is the core of the product at the moment. It's quite bare bones, and the playground allows you to run a scenario against a voice agent. So I'm just going to expand the instructions to show how that works. So every scenario has multiple steps that you can generate, provide, or we generate for you using AI. There is acceptance criteria for a scenario to either pass or fail, and there are certain budgets available uh, for your voice agent. For instance, you can have a latency budget that describes the amount of latency that is acceptable for that scenario. So let's just go ahead and test out a scenario to see how it actually works. So here I have a few scenarios. I have one restaurant scenario, and I have two voice agents that I want to test. One is a friendly restaurant assistant that's going to help me complete the restaurant booking, and one shows a failure case. So let's just run this evaluation. Okay, I'm going to pause the video right here because it seems like it's not capturing the audio. We are back, and I'm going to run the scenario evaluation again, and you should be able to see our spoofed user agent running the specific scenario uh, against a test voice agent that we are going to evaluate. And you can see, so we have run through this scenario, and the voice agent has passed. It's captured all the required information, and we also have uh, latency metrics here. So it's pretty much been on point, except for one specific um, response, which was delayed probably because the user just randomly switched and started providing like random details like his name. So it took a bit of processing. We can see that here. And so this scenario, it's passed successfully. And now let's run through a failed restaurant assistant. So this is a test voice agent that is going to fail because it's not going to capture the details. And this is mostly for demonstration purposes. In the future, an external voice agent creator or even a vendor like Vapi or even 11 Labs can simply test against their voice agent by providing a URL that we can use to access their voice agent along with probably something like a access key, and then we can run it against the agent and get such details. So we can do this hundreds of times and for thousands of scenarios, and we can use it for regression testing, for scenario testing, for making sure that your prompts inside your voice agents are working as expected, and that your agents are actually able to complete the tasks that they are there for. So let's run this failed scenario and see how it works. Let me just refresh that. And so we want to do the failed respond and so as you can see, this acceptance criteria has failed, excuse me, because it's not being able to capture the phone number. And so we have additional features besides just the playground. Uh, we have voice agents. For instance, here we have two cases of voice agents. So you can create more agents here. Let's say, let's try one where we'll just call it a dumb voice agent. And we'll say, something like that. We can even make sure that it fails any scenario it's given. And we'll just say, and we pretty much have a new agent that we can test against, and it's going to be a failure case again. Similarly, here is our scenarios builder. We have a few scenarios here. For instance, we have a restaurant, a clinical intake scenario that is for a hospital or a clinic that is onboarding patients, and we can even just generate a new scenario. So let's try and do that. I'll say this is a scenario for like a police first information report, and we'll just call this police FIR. And actually, let me just provide something like, yeah, let's generate a scenario for a police first information report using AI. So I'll just say something like, verify the location and nature of the crime. So you can see it's given us three different cases, scenario cases, one which passes, one which fails, and one can be a pretty complex uh, police first information report. So this can be used to test for robustness of your police voice agent or something like that. I just click on accept and save. Let's just accept and save these two, and we can go ahead and reject that. So you can see we have this police first information. I need to report a crime. The crime is happened on Main Street. It was a robbery. Yes, that's correct. And we can go back. Now we have a dumb voice agent that we can test for against our police um, past case, and we just run the scenario again. So you can see these are just examples of how we can create new scenarios and test it against different voice agents. So the idea here is that we are able to do this against external voice agents. So if you are a product and you have voice integrated into your product for some kind of onboarding or an intake form or any sort of conversational nature where you want to verify certain outcomes or you just want to improve the voice conversation experience for your user, then this product does that against thousands of AI generated scenarios. Excuse me. And in the future scope of this product would include things like um, yeah, obviously the first thing would be to allow you to test it against deployed voice agents, either over WebRTC by simply providing the URL to your WebRTC, or even for telephony. So you just provide maybe a customer care number and we verify and we test it against multiple scenarios. Uh, a really exciting use case I am thinking about, just because I had initially thought of building a clinic intake or a patient onboarding form for clinics and hospitals, but I quickly realized that I had to build sort of this test framework around it to ensure, just because healthcare is such a critical area where information is to be treated with a lot of compliance and safety guidelines in place. So I realized that I had to build this test framework. And so I thought any voice agent related product that I needed to build, I needed to first build a test framework. And that's exactly how I ended up building Voice Gym or Agent Gym. And the future could be a simple prompt to voice agent builder. So you can choose your vendor and you can even bring in your own API keys and we generate a voice agent for you. You just prompt us what you want the agent to accomplish. We generate a voice agent for you. We test it against thousands of scenarios to make sure it's robust. And then you can deploy it, integrate it into your application using a couple of lines of code or something like that. And so I also have a few more interesting features coming up. Hopefully, I'll try and get this done before the time is up for the hackathon. So I want to add a per step acceptance criteria. So for a specific step, if there needs to be some criteria that needs to be met in the response of the voice agent, we can add that over there. And also, this is an existing feature, but it's not enabled right now. So I want to try and bring this back. It's about language continuity. In this case, inside the scenario, if a user decides to switch his or her language, the agent, we measure if the agent is able to detect this language switch and is able to respond back in the same language as the user has switched to the new language. So that's about it. Um, I hope you guys like Voice Gem or Agent Gem. I got to rename it. And thank you.